and I'm going to come and walk around here. Otherwise, I'm going to trip over that table. So, is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My glasses are because I can't see. Okay, so we've got a couple of hours that we're going to be spending together to go through a little bit of background to talk about the master project management. So I'm going to make a bit of an assumption that you've all enrolled and accepted your topics. Is that a general assumption? Good. Okay. So we're going to talk as if you are going to be turning up here in about 5 weeks' time to sit in your first unit study, which will be with group. So we've got our team here. So group Electives and Robert Miller and Cedric. There we go. And we've got their beautiful pictures up on the screen. So yes, and we will be organising a little game with you after we finish going through all of the detail. So thank you. Now, you probably don't want to sit up on the stage. No. It's always good. Okay, so apologies for the little bit of a rush. I've been spending the last 3 days over the last couple of weeks in a PMI workshop on the new PMI standard project management. So interesting being a student at the other end as opposed to being a sort of a person out the front talking and teaching. So I'd like to make this as interactive as possible. There are formal notes that we'll go through. I'll start off with a bit of an introduction. Then we have a number of different people coming in who are going to be talking to you about the different resources that are going to be there to assist you. So we have Andrew Dixon from the libraries coming in. We have Isabel Gonzalez who's going to be talking to you about engagement and key mentoring. So you'll understand a little bit more about what resources are available to you one-on-one and in small groups. We've got people talking about the student hubs. We've got some slides that will show you in regard to the technology systems that we use to be able to access all of the material. And then we'll play a little bit of a game while we keep moving. It's very, very exciting. Now, we should be finishing up around about 8 o'clock, maybe a bit early, depending on how quickly the winning team gets their prize organised. That would be fun. So I'll start off with some of the basics around that program. So the program, and how many people went to the orientations, or the graduate expos that we've had in the city? One in January, one in October. So you've probably seen a few of their stuff, but there are some new ones, just to make it a bit interesting. So the course is practical. In the design of the units, what we're doing is we're bringing real industry projects in as part of your team assessment work and potentially some of your individual assignments. So at the end of this, you'll have a portfolio of evidence as part of your transcript of saying, I've worked on these different real projects. So I know Drew's working on some work with diabetes Australia. Victoria? I'm working on a group that's set up in Cambodia, and one of the projects that we're doing is developing up a bike ride from one area to another. So that's a project. So there's some real tangible outcomes, and the clients are going to potentially come in and talk with you. So flexible. The electives that we're running, I'll go through all of the electives that we've got coming this week, are designed to supplement the 8 units that are designed around the core knowledge areas and the foundational areas of programming. They're all generic. All of the project management units are applicable to any sector. The electives, on the other hand, focus in specific faculties. Innovative, because what we're doing is we're incorporating leading approaches in how projects are being managed. We do learn the basics, so we learn the fundamentals of how we manage according to the scope, time, cost, quality triangle, but we're also focusing more on some of the more intangible skills, or people talk about soft skills, on how people actually engage. How do they behave? How do they actually deliver their outcomes So, practical, flexible and innovative. We're also going to be looking at accrediting the program. Until you've graduated, we are unable to go for the international accreditation. So we have to have one cohort each. And the Global Accreditation Centre, I've worked with both as a volunteer. They're called on-site visitors, but we're actually auditors at other universities. So I've done that a couple of times. And it's a fairly onerous task, but we are aligning all of our learning outcomes in all of the units to the learning requirements within the Global Accreditation Centre's accrediting guide. So rest assured that we are aligned with what's best practice internationally. Now there's a lot of words up on that slide, and I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I will point out a couple of them. So these are what we're calling the course learning outcomes. So as a graduate, when you finish your degree and you go out to your current employer or a future employer or some area that you want to go and get a promotion in, you can say, I can actually apply the project management tools and techniques in different sectors to meet your needs. That's essentially what that course learning outcome says. Then we start to say we can apply a professional approach to all of the work that we're doing across different types of levels of delivering outcomes at project, program or portfolio level. We can then start to say that we've researched and been able to think creatively, looking at cognitive approaches, to be able to develop our communication skills, to then be able to solve these complex real-world problems. And when I talk about real-world, they're not just in Australia, they're in the ornamental world. So we're also going to look at how you reflect, how you make decisions, and particularly when you're facing maybe some ethical dilemmas. All of the team, the MPM Master Project Management team, have worked in industry. I've spent 20 years working across different sectors, and sometimes we're going to be asked in our day-to-day practice to maybe work on a project that might challenge our value system. We might be going into a country where we're potentially going to have to consider offering value beyond what is expected. In other words, that would be seen as a bribe. So how do we do that? How do we manage that in situations that are not out of textbook and easily defined? So as graduates, they're the areas that we're going to be talking about, how you apply those ethical approaches. Then in the electives, all of the electives have been selected to complement the 8 units of study to ensure that they are able to be applied, that they are also innovative, and they follow particular streams within the faculties. And you can pick and choose, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But it does build on the discipline and the context in which you'll be studying, and that you can undertake independent research. So when you think about research, I'm going to ask you some questions. What's your definition of research?
Looking into new ways of doing things.
Excellent. And yours?
Yeah, so research means that we are trying to improve the existing things.
Yeah. Improve
Research. Yeah.
Through research.
Yeah.
If I was to ask you to review 3 papers in the library, we've got a librarians here, which are going to talk to you as well, and come up with maybe a critique of how those papers are particularly making a comment on an area. That's research. So when we're talking about research, and I'm preempting a couple of slides, we're going to be looking at how we can do things in a slightly different way, underpinned maybe by other academic writings. So Wikipedia is it's a little bit of a pet peeve. Although, having said that, So those course learning outcomes have informed the development of those 8 new Master of Project Management units. So when we finish those learning outcomes, and I think this is... Sorry? Yes? Yes, because we've been team teaching, team preparing because of the work that I've been doing today, not able to be here.
We're talking a lot about teaching here, but actually what this is about is your learning. But your learning is not coming with, it's not an automatic result over what we are teaching and what we are planning. So in order to achieve those very ambitious course learning outcomes we have set, we have some expectations of what you are going to do to be able to do that. So I'll try to take the most important here. We expect that you, when it comes to the workshops, are present at all of them. And we also expect that you are participating in group discussions because we will have group work and we will have plenary discussions. And the reason for this is that we will also work on the project, the project assessment projects during the workshops to help you get going. And also, it's very hard for us to know what we don't know. So at least in my unit, it will typically be that I present something, and then we will try to apply it and discuss it, and then we can go deeper into what is problematic or what for you or what you're curious about. So that's why and that's also part of critical thinking, that we're sort of reflecting and asking questions about what we tell them. When it comes to the project groups, and the reason why we are having project groups, and you will have a lot of project work here, is of course that as a team, as a project manager, you're also a team leader. So we will expect that you are actively seeking information about the topic you are working on outside what we have given you. So that's why we have the people from the library here, and they will be able to help you do that. And we expect you to engage with the project groups. It might sound obvious, but we don't really want any workers or anyone who does things on the side or things that typically happen in project groups. And we also expect you to contribute to any result the group have decided to do today. So it's not just about, you also have to write or make drawings or make videos or whatever your group decides to do. So that's our expectation. And if you do that, we will do our very best to share our knowledge and experience.
Thank you, Ruth. So as you can see, it's not going to be one of those typical courses where you sit at the back of the lecture room, play on your computer on Facebook or whatever you want to think about doing. It is very interactive, and the value that you will get out of participation will ensure that you'll embed those learnings to be able to apply sequentially to the rest of the studies. So thank you. So this is a slide that you might have seen at the Red Expo evening. This is a typical professional pathway. Just out of interest, is anybody enrolled in the research pathway? Okay, so we can show that slide to the public. But essentially the first 2 streams are the same. So if you're studying full-time, how many people are studying full-time? So see, about 2/3 are studying full-time and about 1/3 are studying part-time. And some people are coming in from overseas who aren't here yet, some people are local. So this is a typical full-time pathway. If it's part-time, you basically would cut that down to each semester 2 units of study instead of 4. So we'll be taking the OPM 4000 unit, which is Principles of Managing Projects, followed by me doing the Project Context unit. And I've got the schedule at the end of the slide, so I'll go through that as well. The electives have been designed, as I mentioned, to ensure that they complement these units here, that are generic project management units. Also, importantly, that they don't have any prerequisites, or as Trudy, who's our wonderful manager of all of our enrolment activities, is ensuring that if there are prerequisites, that they have been made. Because they've all been approved by the deputy deans and associate deans in each of the faculty to be offered to MPM students. These units down here are when we look at the way that you're going to apply your foundational units in project management, your core or advanced units in project management, and your electives into a capstone or professional practice. So that is a snapshot of the professional pathway. The research pathway does one less elective and focuses on research methods and a thesis. And that's a pathway into a PhD. So if, for example, you found that you got to, maybe if you're full-time studying and you get to the end of the first year of study and you think, I really want to do a research pathway, it's flexible. I think it's true. So it will hopefully be flexible. If people want to switch around at the end, yes. And I think we've got hard copies too, so we can pass it out. This is a little bit small. It is in the printouts, but what this essentially shows you is that we have pre-workshop tasks, which you're required to maybe do a little bit of reading to be able to then complete the task before we come into the workshop. When we come into the workshop, we're here on a Thursday night, and it's actually in this building up on levels 8 and 9, and it's in the exec MBA space. Stunning rooms. They've just been launched and opened this year, so they're really smart rooms. And Thursday evenings from 5 until 9, Fridays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, it sounds like very long days, but what we do is we have a model where we have this thing. It's almost like a lectorial. That's one of the terms that we're using. It's not a lecture, it's not a tutorial, it's more of a workshop-based mode of teaching, where we will talk about a particular area, a topic. There will be readings around that, there might be some YouTube videos, we'll discuss some of the concepts, and then you'll be working in teams on different activities that relate back to what we've just spoken about, that we've just taught, and that will then be applied to a particular project. Now that's a generalisation. Each of us are looking at how we're going to attempt those assessment tasks to be able to ensure that they're delivered to a client to meet their brief as well. And those briefs might change too, as they do in real life. So we have that workshop activity, then we have a couple of weeks break in the middle where you'll be able to go back to work or do a little bit more reading, get prepared for the next workshop. There might be some activity that you need to do to prepare for this workshop. In GRUS, it's working in a project team. For me, it's another assessment task. So it will vary slightly between different units of study. Then you come back for your final block. And in that final block, you might be required, as Bruce said before, to present back in the workshops. There's an interesting thing in the latest edition of the PMBOK that I've just learnt today, is that there's a requirement for all project managers to be able to present. Now that might be something people can say. Of course they've got to present. They've got to get up in front of clients, they've got to get up in front of stakeholders, they've got to get up in front of project control groups and talk about we need another $2 million to finish the project. If you can't effectively communicate with those stakeholders, then you're not able to deliver the outcomes that the client wants. We don't teach presentation skills, but we will be expecting you to work together in teams, and we'll be supporting you to be able to do this. And then after that, we have an individual assessment task that is normally due about 3 weeks after the last block. What's the first thing that you can see that might cause a little bit of trouble if you're doing this while you're working full-time? You might have family commitments or subordinate contributions or community volunteer activities, and you're juggling this. I'm giving you a bit tenders were being called, and the deadline was at 4:59 on a particular date. And one large tender came in at 502 under its date stamp. It was not considered. Now that organisation had spent nearly 6 months, I won't obviously name what the organisation was, trying to get that defence contract that was worth about $10 million. So you've got to be able to manage time. What we don't want to see, and it is adult learning, so obviously if there are issues, you might have been shipped off to Palo to work on a particular piece of technology with a project that you're doing, and you might say, look, I've really got to get some leeway here with some additional time. But as a project manager, you would have ideally built that into the front end of your project so that you're already maybe doing the readings for the second unit while you're actually involved in the first unit of study. And if you're working full-time in this environment, studying full-time, you've got weekly lectures in the electives on top of this. So you're not undergraduate students, and we don't expect you to come into us and say, oh, but we've got an exam for one of our electives at the same time as an individual assignment. It'd be really brutal, and I'm not more than you, but I will say that's not actually my problem. That's something that you've known from this week up here. So plan effectively, and we will be flexible if there are some issues. If we need to think about how we're going to effectively manage your journey through what we're doing here. So a little bit hard to read, but there are printouts that could more detail.
Question, just public holidays, do we still have CLOS?
No. Is there a public holiday?
Like on the Good Friday?
I don't think there's a class on Friday. No, that's just working in between. I was really, really careful at avoiding public holidays. Yeah. Melbourne Cup Day in November. Okay. Marking. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, we work on Melbourne Cup Day. It's crazy. Anyway. So that's semester 2. Again, the same scenario where you've got pre-workshop activities, readings, teamwork, working between, bit of a gap, individual assignment, some marking at the end. That's our thing. Where there's a red box that says break, that's the university break. As good project managers, we would expect you would still be actually maybe doing your readings and your assessment tasks. But as you can see from the schedule, you're not required to be here, apart from those block workshops where we do expect that you will show up. And that's part of being a good project manager. You turn up, you participate, you deliver on time, and we engage in effective feedback so that it's preparing you for when you get out there in the industry, if you're not doing it already, by being able to meet the clients' needs. One of the things that we have to also stress is, and you might have picked up on this, there are no exams in any of those 8 project management units. And we decided that because when was the last time you sat an exam in a project or in an industry environment? Oh, maybe OHS, but they're interactive online and those types of things. They're not typically an exam that you sit in a hall with 3,000 other people for 2 or 3 hours. Having said that, the assessment tasks that we're doing, and I'm trying to take a full picture, but it's also a fairly robust way that we're going to be assessing your work. So you will get feedback, it will be written feedback. We have very well-qualified educational designers that are working with the team, the MPM team, to ensure that our marking rubrics are transparent. The marking briefs, the assessment briefs you will get will be very detailed to show you where the marks are going to be allocated and what we expect. Because again, it's almost like a conversation. It's like when you're, again, in industry, you don't normally go out to a client and say, well, give me a problem in 2 lines and I'll come back with a 500-page report. You enter into a discussion, negotiation to find out what they really need. Okay. So, again, an even busier slide, and that's in the handouts. Oh, you've got some? Okay. That's a list of all of the current electives as at 10 o'clock last night. there was one minor change, which I haven't time to update the team, in our law elective. So we've actually reinstigated another law elective. So the colour system is really designed to demonstrate the variety of the modalities that these electives are being offered in. When you're looking at electives, can I please stress, they are not the responsibility of this cohort, this Master of Project Management group, that they are being taught in faculties that design those units of study to suit their schedule. Most of them are taught across the whole semester. We don't know what days they're timetabled for, so by scheduling our blocks on a Thursday evening, a Friday and a Saturday, we've tried to minimise the potential for clashes with the electives. So if you happen to pick an elective that you have this absolute burning desire to complete, and it's on a Thursday evening from 6 till 8, then what we can do is I will go into a negotiation with the Chief Examiner of that elective and work out what we can do to support you to be able to meet those needs. Now, we're hopeful that that will not happen, but if it does, we can negotiate, we can work through that. So this list of electives is broken down into faculties. So we have 4 in the Faculty of IT. You can see Caulfield, 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 day online, day only, evening and online. So there are different modalities that these units of study are being offered in. Business, these are Caulfield units, sometimes in the evening. I'm focusing on semester 1. Engineering are all off campus. So if we're looking at those, and all 3 except for 1 are offered in semester 1. We're looking at, there's the 2 law units. One's a block in winter and the other one's in semester 2. And then we have 1 arts unit. The arts unit is a particularly interesting one. You work on a project almost like a discrete project with a group of people in Australia, and then you go overseas and they pick different countries to go and actually implement those projects. So have a think about that, because there may be visa implications, because you could be restricted from being able to travel. So that particular elective will have to work on that. Yes, so it's 12 credit points. And then the last 4 are part of the Master of Environment and Sustainability. So that's a fairly interesting degree. So some of those units, that's in their leadership stream. So you can see there's a reasonable spread of different units across different faculties with no prerequisites, or if they have got prerequisites, we can negotiate with the Deputy Deans or the Associate Deans of Education in those faculties because they've approved them. The thing to watch out is if you want to study all 4 units or electives in the research stream or in the professional stream, the 5 electives that you'll be choosing, you can pick from any of those electives. If you want to pick 1 engineering, maybe 1 of the law units, maybe a sustainability unit, an IT unit and a business unit, you can do that. If you want to choose all in one, you can do that too.
Just with the art elective.
The arts one?
Yeah,
This
so
one?
the fact that there's no timetable where it's going to be evening or morning or...
So no timetable?
So it doesn't show me if it is day or evening or
On-campus day only.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and that's in semester 2.
Okay, all right.
And are they likely to follow the same semester 1 or 2 for the following years?
It depends on. Yes, yeah. Basically, what this information was drawn from was the current handbook, and then when there was an anomaly, I spoke to the Chief Examiner or the Deputy Dean or the Associate Dean in that particular. Yeah, so
Just trying to think like planning,
In the
especially if
future.
you're doing part-time, like how you map it so you're not...
our plan is that this won't change until 2020. But if, for example, which is what the negotiation with the law faculty was, this winter unit had been withdrawn and taken out of their faculty. It took a couple of phone calls and a couple of committee meetings to approve it back in, and so now it's come back in. So if there's a need for the unit, then we will fight for it, but it doesn't belong to us. So each faculty continually goes through a review to make sure that the units are delivering according to their strategic plan. So if something's taken out, we'll make sure that something is replaced that is as close as possible, because the balance of those weeks sets to our Masters of Project Management. Okay, I think I'm nearly finished. Yes, I'm finished. Am I on time? Oh, I should go back. If you want more information, there's a web page. You can have a look at that. Or I've got business cards, but you can email me and then I can harass my team and try to work out to get you the response. And we've got discussions in small groups after this as well, so I'll move on so that we don't hold up our librarians and peer mentors and Chris and people like that. But we'll be able to talk through more detail after we've had more of these forums. Thank you. Okay. Do we want to pick up?
Just this is presentation. I think she's got her own clicker.
Chris, do you want to use that one? Or? This is
Oh, yeah, come on, yeah.
Hello everyone, while we're waiting for that to come up, I've been listening to Siobhan. I feel like rolling in the Master's Project Management. It sounds really interesting. I used to love project management. I used to teach it many years ago to our undergraduates. So that sounds like very exciting. We're excited. Looking forward to it. So my name is Chris Gonzalez. I'm the Associate Dean Student Engagement, and my role is to make sure that not only do you, but Siobhan will look after you to really feed the course, but one of the things that our industry partners tell us is that they're looking for much more than students with great grades or excellent academic results. They're looking for students who really engage in the whole university experience and offer themselves as a well-rounded person rather than just a person with excellent academic results. And we want to offer you that advantage. Monash has, may have already heard, Australia's biggest university. And one of the joys of being a big university is we can offer a lot of opportunities. And that's what we do for our students. So not being typical students, like our undergraduate students, we are quite sure that you will have fun. Our undergraduates sometimes have just fun and not much else. We want you to have great fun, because that is good. It actually helps with your academic success if you feel that you're part of the community. Being a nice small course, it's fantastic because you get to know each other well, and other than being a great project management community, we want you to be part of our greater faculty and be a part of our Faculty of IT community. But my role is to make sure that you actually develop a whole range of employability skills as you go along. Now, normally I do a whole 1 hour spiel, but I have got about 5 minutes, so this is the super short version. The main thing I'd like to tell you about is our student newsletter. It comes out every couple of weeks. Now, normally I tell you all about all the bits and pieces that we do, but really all I'm going to tell you about today is you have to read that student newsletter. It will tell you about career opportunities, it will tell you about opportunities to build up that resume, volunteering opportunities, opportunities to meet other students in the course. So there are students from the Master of IT, the Master of Business Information Systems. We have lots of social events. We have lots of career events. An example may be having an event where we get experts in LinkedIn on how to use LinkedIn to write a good profile and to how to approach people on LinkedIn if you're looking for a job. Or maybe someone who's an expert in writing a resume or conducting a job interview. So we will advertise all those opportunities in the Byte and on our Facebook page and so on. But unless you are engaged with these things, you will miss out on these opportunities. And lots of students get jobs and internships and so on using these. So you will get it delivered to your email inbox every week. Every alternate week is
We also have, and we've been running for approximately 2.5, 3 years, a peer mentor program. One of the things that our students told us was that it is often difficult to settle into a new university, into a new course, and it's nice to have someone that you can chat to about your experience and their experience, and to get it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So to not hear what we have to say, because we obviously are very positive about everything, but they will actually help guide you. Unfortunately, being the first running of this course, we do not have peer mentors who are from your course, because it doesn't or does not exist. But we will give you the opportunity to still have a peer mentor who is part of the faculty of IT. We've got a few of our peer mentors here. I may get them to just stand up. They've got those lovely white t-shirts, so in future if you want to be a peer mentor, you get a free t-shirt. Priceless. And their role is to help you. So you may get one from the Master of Business Information Systems or the Master of Data Science, and they still will be able to help you with that general information to settle into university. So what we're going to do is give you the opportunity at the end of the session. Our key administrator who actually organizes and runs the program, Mula, is here. He's at the back, exhausted after we've had a very busy day training 300 odd mentors today, so these guys have been very busy as well. But we will take down your name, your email address, and then allocate you to a team and give you those details. We'd love to see you as a part of that, if you think that that's something that you need. What we also offer our students normally is a 2-hour orientation tutorial. That is where we go through all the bits and pieces that would help you succeed as a Monash student. Now, you may feel quite comfortable with that. You may have done some of those bits and pieces already, but if you haven't, again, we'd love you to sign up for it, and we will then email you the details tomorrow. We will allocate you to a lab with some of our other students so that you can participate in that. That will be held on Thursday next week. We understand that some of you work, so it may not be possible. We also have that available on our orientation website, so you will have access to it as well. But it's always a bit of fun to meet other students. We have chocolate, so for nothing else, you must come for that. But it is a great opportunity to meet some other students. We have lunch, and it's just, again, gives you a chance to meet with our community. We have lots of social events over the first few weeks, things like trivia nights, coffee nights, karaoke. I think we've never had that before, so we've got a great singing voice, or if you think you've got a great singing voice, good time to come, because no one can stop you when you're on that karaoke machine. And they're good laugh. We have movie nights. You're all a bit older, so this may not impress you, but you get to drink alcohol. So the undergrads are very excited by that. So it is good fun, though. We really do enjoy it. And what we find, too, is it helps us network. So as Siobhan was talking about, when you need help, or you've got to go overseas somewhere, you'd like to talk to someone about what you miss. If you've got that network, it is so much easier to do. So it'd be lovely to see you at those. For us, have we got any international students in the room? Yeah, so we've got a few international students. Now, if you've just come, any of you just come to Australia very recently? A few of you, so that's very exciting. Welcome. We have a very proud tradition of having international students and a very great multicultural community. That's wonderful for our Australian students, get an opportunity to experience our international students, and vice versa. One of the issues that our international students face, and having been one myself, as I came to Australia when I was quite young, we all have a tendency to want to stick with our community. So if you're from India or China or wherever you may be, it's very exciting and you want to go and seek out your other Indian friends or other Chinese friends, and it's lovely, except that you pay a ridiculous amount of money to come to Australia. So if you wanted to actually see your Indian friends or Chinese friends, just take that one. Much cheaper. Now that you've come here, it's really important that you actually engage with all the students here from all over the world. So exciting. What we found out recently from some of our Chinese agents is that the students who come to Australia actually go back from Australia, their English language skills decrease. Because they come here and they think, oh good, I don't have to bother practicing my English because I'm in Australia. And then they just talk to all their Chinese friends or their Indian friends and actually don't practice their English at all. And that's not good, right? Because you want to go back. It's a great business language of the world. What a wonderful opportunity to practice your skills. Don't waste it. And other than that, you want to immerse yourself in the culture because it's great to live in another country for a short time. Or forever if you choose to stay. Now, we're very mindful of the fact that part of getting a job is being able to communicate in the host country's language if you decide to stay. So we've got the opportunity for you to engage with a range of programs. We've got the Let's Chat program, but there's a whole range of conversational English, grammar programs. The students who do it love it because, again, it helps make friends, build a community, and from the people who run it, they tell me that often they have to chase the students out of the room. They can't get rid of them. So it is good fun. Please hop on there, onto the website, have a little look, and register for the programs if you're studying full time. They've also got a peer support program. Now, often for international students, again, it can be quite lonely when you just come and you don't have the support of your family and friends. And it is daunting in moving a whole country, getting used to a new culture. Make sure you use these support mechanisms that we offer. They really do make a significant difference. We've also got the Monash Postgraduate Association. They're fantastic. They're there primarily to support postgraduate students. We've got clubs for everything, whatever you want to do in the world. If you like to be a knight and dress up in armor and do sword fighting. I actually saw a club doing that outside my office recently. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. The theatre, if you like languages, or if you want a club associated with your religion or your country, there's one for absolutely everything. And again, a great way to make friends. We've also got a Keys to Success program, which helps you with dealing with the university structure, writing your reports appropriately, and so on. Again, that will be covered by some aspects of your MPM, but that support in writing good business English, for example, and so on, you can get with the Keys to Success program. Part of being a great project manager is excellent time management. But sometimes we all need a little bit of help with that, so we have got courses for that sort of thing. You know, how to manage your time, or if you're not sure whether you're going to be working in teams. But if you do, how do you manage a team? How do you manage that person who's not pulling their weight, or a leader who's a bully, whatever it may be? We've got courses that just help you do that, and it's all free. So just to end with my very quick little spiel, join in as many activities as possible for those of you who are here full time. I know it's much harder if you are working. We have so many interesting seminars, talking about the IT industry broadly, which would be interesting for you to just get a good broad base of what's happening in the industry. Read the newsletter, as I mentioned before. Join our postgraduate new to FIT 2017 Facebook group. We will send all MPM students that link, so you get to join. And even if you're a bystander, have a little look at what it offers. Get the notifications. It can be quite a bit of fun. Always read your email. Now again, you're a little bit older. Hopefully you do that. Our undergraduates think it's an optional extra. Monash's main way of communicating with our students. Reading it once a week is not going to cut it. You need to read it regularly so you are up to date with all the things we offer. We have got a Monash Get Started website, especially for our international students, that is quite useful when you're new, and even for all our students generally. my friends say, oh, you're so lucky, you get half the year off. No. Don't get carried away with the fun bit. And there was another added bit, but mostly we wanted to say, enjoy your course. Welcome to Monash. We're so excited and happy to have you here. So my name's Chris. If there's ever an issue that you face that you think from a student engagement perspective I can help, don't hesitate to contact either Paula or myself. We're more than happy to get you. Thank you so much for listening and best of luck with your course. Thank you to Andrew for letting me interrupt and see this spot.
So we might stand up here at the bridge, because that way we've got microphones and we can control the technology.
This is how you'd like to do it? Okay. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here as you start your Master of Project Management course. My name's Andrew Junor. I'm a Learning Skills Advisor. This is
Andrew Dixon, and I'm the subject librarian for IT here at the Caulfield campus.
Yep, so nice segue. We work in the library just over there, the Caulfield Library. I thought before we got into exactly what the library might be able to offer you throughout your course, I could touch upon one of the themes I've been hearing from presenters today, starting with Siobhan, which is expectations. You know, Siobhan and Gru did a really great job of making very clear the expectations of what you can expect as you begin your units. And generally those expectations are going to be clarified by your unit coordinators. You know, in each unit, you'll be getting that guidance on what it is you need to achieve to succeed with your learning. And that will vary by faculty. So in your electives, there'll be different expectations, you know. In IT units, it'll be different to arts units or law units, and there'll be different disciplinary contexts, which is one of the real advantages of this project management course, that interdisciplinarity. So I think the library can play a helpful role, I hope, because we work across those faculty contexts, and we can help to clarify some of those general expectations in these areas. So we've sort of visualised it for you. I'll put Andrew Dixon on here as well. He was missing. Generally speaking, do you want to speak about the research
You do
side
your
of
thing
things?
first and I'll do mine.
Okay, so as I was saying, within your units, the content expertise and that really clear guidance about your learning is going to come from your unit coordinators and lecturers. But for the general skills around your learning, you can come to people like Andrew and myself. So learning skills advisors, whenever you have a question about, I'm not quite sure, how do I interpret this task? How am I expected to write this kind of assignment, a report or a piece of critical reflective writing? How can I work on my time management and my teamwork? Or perhaps something as, you know, less exciting, like citing and referencing, which is a major sort of component of academic writing and using academic research. So these kind of skills, we can work with you on those. And I can tell already that this is a very diverse group in terms of the backgrounds and I assume your sort of work experience and your academic experience. So it won't be one size fits all. We all have different sort of skills gaps, and feel free to ask questions of library staff to make sure that you're getting the support you need as you start the course.
Okay, so one of the things that Andrew didn't put on his slide was the explicit words presentation skills, which Siobhan mentioned particularly. And I thought it was really interesting that she said, we'll be marking you on this, but we're not going to help you do it.
So we can help you with presentation skills. Absolutely. So, you know, if you're working on your oral and visual presentation, you have to present some slides like this and present your project findings to your peers and to your lecturer, then you can definitely work with the library on that. You can come and talk to us or attend one of our classes, which will show you how to do that in just a moment.
Yeah. So, you know, Monash has very clear expectations of how you do a presentation. If you memorise your presentation and you stand there like this, you probably won't get very good marks. Siobhan's shaking her head. Okay, so, but I mean, I've seen students who thought they'd done a fantastic job by memorising their presentation and going blah, 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 and nice slides. But it was like a wooden performance. This doesn't get you marks at Monash. It's about, you know, engaging and look as if you're really interested in what you're doing. Okay, like Andrew and I are trying to do. Okay, so librarians like myself can help you find resources for your assignments and research. So I would just briefly say don't use Google and Baidu for all of your assignments. We've got, we spend about $7 million a year of your money on electronic databases in the library, so please use them. We'll tell you more about that. We can also help you evaluate and manage the resources that you use in your assignments, and like Andrew said, the citing and referencing might be a key issue if you are doing a more formal piece of written work.
Absolutely. And you might have come across the phrase academic integrity as part of your onboarding at Monash. Academic integrity really is about avoiding plagiarism and collusion, but we can, if that's an area of expectation you're not sure about, you know, what is expected in terms of using evidence and acknowledging information in your work, the library can definitely talk you through that as the need arises. So in terms of where you can access support from the library, we can talk about face-to-face teaching or consultations, and we can talk about the online services that are available. So first of all, we've got the research resources. We've just sort of cherry-picked a few things we thought would be particularly relevant to your course to start with today.
So, Siobhan, I just thought I might quickly show them the reading list so none of them can say they didn't know where it was.
Andrew has done a brilliant job and setting up the reading list so that it's all there for you. Just click it up. You don't have to go on. But we do expect that you do your own additional research to find additional.
Yes. Now, do I make it bigger by doing? Am I going to stuff it up by doing that?
I should say as well, just before Andrew gets back, we will share these. We can share these slides so you have this list of resources available as well.
Yeah. So, if you were trying to read, which one are we choosing, Siobhan? We choose that one. That might be a good one to talk about. Who's rushed out and bought this book already? This is the Pimbok book, 6th edition. That's the current one, isn't it? We've had lots of dealings about this. I'm suddenly... Okay, so I was going to ask a question here. Who's become a member of the Project Management Institute already? What's the student price? It's a good price, isn't it? I think. It's a bargain. They've got an e-book of this book for free. Join the Institute and you've saved the money already. Okay?
I think this gentleman wanted to add something.
Yeah, guys, I'm a member, have been for about 15 years, but not as a student, as a full-paying member. It costs me about $180 a year as a practitioner. If you can get it for $50 as a student, do it, because you can get the book for free, and they also have Agile. They have that book as well for free at the same time as a bundle. So
yeah.
It's worth it for $50.
Yeah. Now, we're not trying to put ourselves out of business in the library because we've actually gone out and bought about 14 copies of this book. But we're only going to let you borrow them for a week at a time. And if some other students from another unit want it, well, they'll get it off you. Okay? So I really think joining the Institute's a really jolly good idea. Okay, so how do I go back to where I was? But there are other links there to articles that Siobhan's asked us to digitise. Okay, So the other thing we'd just like to very quickly show you is that we've got these databases that I mentioned before we spend $7 million on. So here we've got the information technology databases. Project management's a little bit of an overlap with management, so you might look in the management databases as well as the information technology databases, but there's that secret gateway to $7 million worth of resources that students, I see them in their last semester of their last unit at Monash and they go, oh, really? Oh, they say.
Sure.
The other site that I find absolutely valuable is in this one, Google Scholar.
Oh, yes.
And you can do endnote citations directly from Google Scholar.
Yep.
Which then creates your reference list in the required format. So you can do classes.
Yeah. So if we were trying to show you, we might add a link to where the Google Scholar is in this rather than going there. If you use the right link to get to Google Scholar, you can get access to quite a few of the resources that Monash pays for. If you go to googlescholar.com, it will want some money off you. Okay, Andrew, how do we get back
Here we
here?
are.
Andrew's the technology person. You should tell.
Okay, so
Now, we've looked at the live. Are we going to here now?
probably don't need to follow all the links, I think. We can probably just
You
share it all.
want that one? You want to show them that one, though,
I
don't
can
you?
talk to them, yeah. I mean, so research and learning online is the library's sort of repository of online tutorials. So a lot of the research and study skills that the library supports, you can do online activities to further develop those skills. So we have assignment samples broken down by faculty. So I've noticed already by looking at the units you'll be doing this semester that there is a lot of critical reflection and, writing up your sort of reflection on decision making and the learning that you're doing throughout the semester. So critical writing, as a genre, reflective writing, it's not something we do every day. It can be a little bit unusual at first. So if there's anything that throws you about that critical reflection process, then you can make use of these resources or contact us. Obviously, you'll be getting a lot of guidance within the context of the unit, but just know that if there are any questions around, particular formats or styles of academic writing or research source types across different faculties, that there is a wealth of knowledge that you can draw on in the library. And really, I think at this stage of the course, when you're doing your orientation, you're going to get information overload. It happens, it's just inevitable. But when you do get to the assignment stage and you've got those questions, you can loop back and ask us something specific because we can help guide you towards what's going to be most useful. Thanks, Andrew.
That resource is brand new. If you looked at that resource tomorrow, you might be one of the first students looking at it. We're very proud of it.
So the last two things we're putting up is just really consultations. Andrew and I are very happy to receive emails from any of you with questions throughout the course, as well as at Clayton, if you're doing units in different faculties, you can go to the Matheson Library or the Hargrave Andrew Library, depending on what you're studying. We have drop-in consultations, which are just like 15-minute, have a chat about a question that you need help with in the library. But I understand, you'll be keeping different hours for most of our students, so it might be that getting in touch by email and maybe organising a meeting might be something that you need to do, which we're happy to follow through with. And it's worth noting as well, if you need some space to work with a team in one of the libraries, you can book discussion rooms at our various libraries as well. When it gets really busy in semester, the libraries can get full. So it's just worth noting that if you need to book some space, or indeed if you want to look for some workshops on particular skills that the library runs. So Keys to Success, which is the IT Skills Development Program we run out at the library here at Caulfield. you just go to the library booking system and search. But you could search for anything, writing, research. It's really, we run a lot. And these are the two pathways to the library online resources. So that's about it for today. I just wanted to end by putting our email addresses up there, and we can share the slides so they're accessible if you like. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask at this stage? No. I imagine the questions will come as you get to work and you start to sort of think about what you need in order to complete your assignments and tackle the challenges of your first semester. So we look forward to hearing from you then. Yeah.
I got an email the other day from one of your students about time management resources in the library. So here he is. So well done, 2 days before orientation. Very impressive. So what I did, I just sent a few links on an email, and you're smiling, so it must have worked, otherwise you wouldn't have said so. So Andrew and I are very good at directing you to the right sort of resources that will help you for your assignment and assessment tasks. So do ask. My only suggestion about contacting people at the university is that you put the unit code in the subject field of the email. If you send me an email saying I'd like to know about time management and I think you're a first year student, I might give you a slightly different answer than I'll give somebody doing a unit at the level that you're doing. Okay, I'll direct you to the postgraduate level resources, not the undergraduate resources. So be a bit strategic about the way you do things like that. And we're really keen to hear from you and to see you at activities that we run in the library, but also that you explore those marvellous online resources that we've got in the library. They are fantastic. We all work very hard and spend a lot of your money on them, and so we hope that you make use of them. So nice to meet you all tonight, and good luck in your studies this semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to have some fun. So we have two, but you can't have a two until we've done the... Oh, sorry?
We've got two more speakers.
Oh,
We're just running a little bit behind time now. It's all right.
Try and keep things short and sweet since we are running a little bit behind time. Hey, my name's Sarah and I'm with the Monash Postgraduate Association. You heard Chris mention us briefly. She said some very nice things about us, which was lovely. And it was also very exciting to see a bit more from her about what's happening in the IT faculty. This isn't one of the best faculties to be in, I think, when it comes to student engagement and things to do outside of just studying. So that's cool. But yeah, I'd like to also welcome you, of course, to Monash and welcome you to the Monash Postgraduate Association. As a student enrolled in a postgraduate course here at Monash, you are automatically a member of our association. There's no sign up, there's no joining fees, you can start accessing all of our services straight away, so you might as well jump on in. And I'll try and give a brief overview. So yeah, about 25,000 students, postgraduate students here at Monash, of which I think about just over 20,000 are also coursework students like yourselves. So there is quite a community here, including many here on the Caulfield campus. Having said that, though, we recognise that, of course, everyone has a different experience while they're at Monash, and we're here to support all of those different experiences. We are the only student body recognised by the university that represents postgraduates. You will hear about Monsu a lot, being here at Caulfield. You also might hear about MSA. Those are both undergraduate student organisations. You can make use of their services as well, particularly if they offer something that we do not. However, we are your primary representative group. And we're a student organisation. We're run by students. There are a number of professional staff like myself who are also employed, and we provide support and continuity for the executive committee that is elected each year by students, for students. However, we essentially, these are kind of our bosses, or at least 6 of them. There's 15 members on the executive committee, and they are able to make a lot of changes, essentially, for postgraduates here at Monash. And if you are interested in getting involved and making some changes yourself, if this is something that you are passionate about, we encourage you to get involved. I think it's around about May each year we do sort of a call for expressions of interest for people who want to nominate themselves and then go into the election process for the next executive committee. So, some of the things we do. We had lobbying and representation is, of course, one of our major things. We have members sitting on many of the high-level committees here at the university, and we have lobbied on various issues for postgraduate students. We have a specific lounge here on the Caulfield campus just for postgraduate students. It's in Building C on level 2, which is impossible to see from here, but it's just along the walkway above there behind the library. And that's a picture of it there. It's quite a large lounge. We also have some special syndicate rooms there that you can book as well, another spot that you can book if you're needing to work on a group project and just need a spot to do so and a bit of privacy to do so. You can do that. We've introduced parenting rooms, for example. This is one of those examples of recognising that postgraduate students are at a different stage in their life to undergraduate students. Many of you have probably studied before, or might have been a while ago, though, and we recognise that. You might have work commitments. Who is working while studying? Yeah. And do we have anyone who's looking to work while they're here as well? Doing a bit of part-time work or anything? Yeah. So it's a challenge to be able to manage those things as well as study, and we are quite familiar with that. Anyone here with family? Again, it's tricky managing all of these different commitments. And again, we are familiar with those sorts of things as well. And we do get involved. We will lobby at times with faculties as well. The last one there was an example where one faculty, not the IT faculty, but a different faculty, was imposing some rather harsh punishments on students who submitted their assignments late, and we lobbied to bring them in line with the rest of the faculties in the university. So we get involved in those things too. We also have a volunteer and mentor program. The volunteer program gives you a chance to both volunteer within the university as well as external to the university. We have some arrangements with different charity organisations here in Melbourne, and we do provide awards and recognition for those, as well as various academic seminars throughout or some of them are academic related. One of the ones that we like to do is Eat with an Expert, where we might get a expert in the field. Perhaps we can try, if you're interested, we might be able to try and find someone in project management who can come in, and you can have like a lunch with them, and we'll provide some catering. You can sit down. They might give like a very short presentation, but then the rest of the time you'll be able to like pick their brains while you're also munching on something. It's good to unwind as well. We have our yoga and our all-new salsa classes as well starting up. So these are free, as well as the more social sporting events we have. Monthly lunches, so if you are around and able to come on campus during the day, I do understand that there's quite a lot of evening classes for your course, but if you are around during the day, we have free lunches each month, also held in the lounge up here. I recommend booking, though. It's free, but you do need to book on the system. We'll let all the people who booked in first, then everyone who was on the waiting list next, and then If you didn't book, you might be able to find some scraps left over, but they are very popular, these lunches. We also offer subsidised trips. This is particular interest from the international students we find. It's a great way to see some of Victoria while you're here. Or even Australia. We actually do one in September to Uluru as well. But yeah, it's not just for international students by any stretch of the imagination. I myself am a graduate of a postgraduate course at Monash, and while I was studying, I went on the Yarra Valley Wineries trip. It's a great way. It was cheaper than if I went through a regular tour operator. And yeah, somebody else drove and I got to taste lots of wine. It was fantastic. Also, it was a great way to meet lots of other postgraduates who were studying in completely different faculties with really, really interesting topics and fields of interest. And I've kept in touch with a lot of those people as well, so that's also opened up a lot of opportunities as well. On the other side of things, we also provide advocacy and advice to students. This is where I like to make clear that we are independent from Monash. Even though we have Monash in our title, we only help postgraduate students enrolled at Monash, but we are not actually part of Monash. And we will always support the student involved in anything. So there's a team of us, of 5 of us, myself and Robert are located here at the Caulfield campus. So we're the people that you probably will most likely see. And essentially we recognise that no matter how well you do plan things, no matter how good your time management is, your project management skills, sometimes stuff happens. And we're here to support you if that ever happens. Our services are free and completely confidential. We will not talk to your faculty. We will not tell your teachers. So if you are having an issue in any of your classes, you can come and talk to us. And it's up to you if you want to take things further. We just provide you with all of your options. We spend a lot of time sitting there reading policies and procedures. If you want to, if you need help going to sleep at night, I recommend reading some of Monash's policies and procedures. Another one that can come up, and I really hope, honestly, that you guys have a great time and that I don't have to see you ever in these positions, but if something does happen, we're there to support you. That includes if you're struggling with academic progress, we'll be there to support you as well. And most importantly, in those situations, remember that you're not alone. We do deal with over 600 cases every year of just postgraduate students. Okay, so how do you find out about these things? If you're interested in the trips or yoga or something like that, I'm just going to quickly show you on the Monash website. We are actually about to change our website, so probably if you visit it in about a week's time, it will look a bit different. So I recommend acting now while this is fresh in your mind. We are just mpa.monash.edu. The best way to keep in touch or to know about what's going on, if you're interested in, say, those trips and you want to know as soon as they are available and to book, or if you're interested in those free lunches and you want to know when can I book them, or even just wanting to know what's going on around the university in terms of postgraduate related things, sign up to our newsletter. It's fortnightly, I think, and it's just that simple form there, and that will keep you in touch. To get access to any of the lounges, as I mentioned, there's the one here on Caulfield. There's also lounges on the Clayton campus. You go to this site, go down, 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 down until we get to postgraduate. Choose Caulfield. There's a second, I should mention, there's a second lounge here at Caulfield, actually right here in this building. It's just on the other side of this building. There's a small lounge there. And we put out tea, coffee, and these sorts of things as well for you. And you just click on this thing and put in your username. This is your username that you use to log into the systems, not your ID. It's a bit tricky, but put that in and you're good to go. Can take maybe 3 days for security systems to clear your access, but from there you'll be able to gain access to any of the postgraduate lounges. Here on Caulfield, do it again for Clayton and you've got access to all of those as well. They're 24/7. So even on the weekends, if you're wanting to do like a meet up to do some study, that's a good place for it. And the final thing I'll point out here, which is also on the main page at the moment, is the calendar of upcoming events, which is handy. As I mentioned, there is the newsletter, but if you just wanted to get a snapshot of what's on this week, you can have a look down there. They are colour-coded for different campuses, but you'll be able to have a check out there. Alrighty, hopefully I haven't gone too much over. Again, welcome. I hope to see you around at different MPA events, see you up in the lounge. As I mentioned, there's tea, there's coffee. We often put out some biscuits. In winter, we tend to put out some cup of soups and some porridge to keep you warm. We always have Mentos, not quite as good as chocolates, but everyone seems to grab. They walk past the counter and go, grab a handful. We're always topping it up, but yeah. And if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can contact us through the website, or again, you can join us on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was jumping.
Sorry. So we've got diversity, so this is the IT society that we've got here. Thank you.
I'll be very quick. So I'm on the student panel for Diverse IC. So basically, Diverse IC aims to encourage more involvement by less represented groups, such as females, for example. As I can see in project management, there's only about 4 out of the 15 of you who are female, so about a third. We're trying to increase our LGBTQ involvement as well in the IT sector. So basically what we do is we have regular coffee events specifically for females within the IT within the IT faculty as well. And we're just trying to encourage more involvement. And we go out to schools and everything as well.